Uh, we did announce this afternoon that the 146th running of the Kentucky Derby will be conducted this year, the first Saturday in September, without fans in the stands. Things on the ground obviously have been changing with regard to the COVID-19 crisis. We really hoped that we would be able to have fans in the stands back in May when we made the tough decision to move it to September, or actually back in March when we made that decision. And every day we've said one thing, is that we will always respond to what's going on, making sure that we're continuing to have an open dialogue with health professionals across the state and in the city, and with Louisville being tabbed a red zone city by the CDC this week. We just felt that we could not responsibly bring in 23,000 fans to the facility for the Derby. It's one of those things, it's not an easy decision. It's one that we tried as best we could to get over the finish line with it, but ultimately the safety of our guests, the community, our employees is the number one priority, so we made this decision to move forward. So we've got a lot of communicating we have to do over the next couple of weeks. We were fortunate in the spring to have spectator-free racing. I've said that it's fortunate to have it in that we've had experience. I hate that it happened as well, but we will use that as a learning tool as we move forward for Derby Week. The rules will be in place for the entire week, so there won't be spectators in the stands from Tuesday through Saturday, so that we have the same protocols in place as we move forward. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Was there one final straw?
Really, the fact, as we've said in the past, we're looking at what's going on in real time, and with the CDC designating Louisville a red zone and the rates rising to the level that they had in the community, we just couldn't figure out how to responsibly do it and bring those folks into the facility. So again, in the interest of fairness to everybody, wanted to make that decision as quickly as we could at that point.
Did you speak to the governor's staff?
We have informed the governor and informed city officials as well, and they've been great partners throughout this process. I think one of the things that we've been trying to talk with as many people as we can. We looked at what happened in Indianapolis, a very similar situation with their county infection rates spiking at a particular time, and the same thing has happened here. And I think for me, the great thing is everybody's been talking every day when we have to, and making sure that we have as much information as we can to make these decisions. I should say too, part of it is such a unique story, the Derby. I've had calls from people this week who have told me that they've been to the Derby 40 consecutive times, 50 consecutive times, and they're trying to keep those streaks alive. And so that's an important thing for them. And so to them, I want them to know that our hearts go out to them. We hate that they won't be able to be with us here on the grounds, but we're thinking of them as we make these decisions, and hate that we've had to do it, but it's the right thing to do. I think this city's going through a lot right now, and I think when you look at all the circumstances, there are a lot of people who are hurting. We've said in the past, we want that dialogue, a good dialogue about equality for everyone, justice for everyone. That's an important thing. The Derby in the past has been a uniting event. It's been something where we can look at our community and say we've got a lot of great things going on. Unfortunately, just given where everything is right now, we can't do that this year, but that dialogue will continue. I know that a lot of folks want to have meaningful conversation on it, and we'll be a part of that as we move forward.
Has this happened in Derby's history?
I'm sorry, let's hit this one first, and come over here.
How much of a loss is it that you guys will not, economic-wise, from
Economically, obviously for the entire community, it's a big event. It has a huge economic impact. I believe the CBB has around $400 million economic impact. But the reality was that the smaller event with 20,000 fans wasn't going to be the same event we've had in the past. It just couldn't be. And so that sort of ship has sailed, if you will. We really have been not focused on that piece for quite a while, and just saying, how can we do it in a way that pays tribute to the great city that we live in and to the horsemen. So, it's not just us. The pandemic has hit everybody across the globe, and so we're doing our best to sort of keep things moving forward in the rules and in the moment, but it's not about the economics, and hasn't been for quite a while. Sorry.
Has there ever been a Derby without fans?
Not that I'm aware of. I said no. we set the record for Derby fans just a few years ago, a little over 170,000. This is the first time that we haven't had fans in the stands, obviously, but it's unfortunate. Don't want to repeat it, obviously, but we certainly, there are more important things, and right now the important thing is the safety and of our community, of our fans, of our guests. And just given the facts as they are right now, we have to make this decision.
And will ticket holders get their full refund?
Yes, that's a great thing. So automatically, now that the event is without fans, anyone who has purchased a ticket and still has a ticket will get a full refund for those the dollars that they spent.
We can't stress enough just how unprecedented this is. The Derby has only been rescheduled 4 times. This is the first time without fans. September is usually not the time to see Derby. What do you want to say to people at home who are still trying to get in that spirit? You still watch the race on TV without holding on to this tradition for the next time you possibly see it.
Yes, everything this year has been unprecedented. It really has impacted everything. Every sporting event, every life moment this year has been different. But they continue. Those life moments continue. And so we do hope folks will watch the Derby on the first Saturday in September and think about what a treasure we have in this community and have had for 145 years and how we can make it better as we go forward. But acknowledging that we're a part of sort of a global conversation about what the right thing to do is. And, as I said before, we didn't make this decision lightly. We obviously tried as hard as we could to do it in a more normal fashion. But we understand that we're not alone with this. It's going to be unusual for the Derby, but everybody's hurting across the globe in this city, and we just want to make sure that we move forward next year as normal as we can next year.
You guys have been speaking religiously, on a daily, weekly basis about the changes. A lot of other big events were canceled 1 Saturday in advance. Can you talk about why it was so important for you to wait until the last possible opportunity to make this decision?
But I think for us, we're reacting to the facts as we get them. And Louisville's numbers were actually quite good for quite a long time, and so we were adjusting to the information that we had in real time along the way. Obviously, one of our big pieces is it's important to the community, and we wanted to do something to hold that up for them so that they could be a part of it in a meaningful way. But ultimately, we just couldn't get there.
Just 9 days ago was when you guys made the announcement of 23,000 fans is what we're going to do. That's not that long ago. So
Okay.
talk about just like the feeling that you guys have surrounding that. It's only been 9 days, and now you're saying we can't.
I actually, before I came out here, I looked at the calendar to see when we had that previous announcement. And 9 days ago, I was shocked that it was 9 days ago. It feels like it was 3-4 weeks ago. And that's the reality that we've been dealing with during this pandemic. I mean, it really has been something that a day feels like a week in many instances. So things change, and they change rapidly, and we have to react to them. I've said it many times, my hearts go out obviously to the fans and to the community, but my team, they have just been responding like champs along the way, just adjusting. I know they're exhausted of how many different variations we've had of this. So though it really has, and I know other folks feel this way in their businesses, it feels like 9 days is a month, 2 months of time frame because of so much information that you're digesting and so many changes to the reality out in the world.
Is there a recommendation from your security team or LAPD not to have the Derby because of potential protesting happening for the weekend?
This decision was made by Churchill Downs and to move forward as safely and responsibly as we could.
That was a consideration.
The whole situation is always about safety. We didn't get any recommendation from anybody from the state or anybody to shut down.
Who will be allowed on the property?
So it will be just those folks who are participating in the event, essential personnel essentially, those folks who are a part of the racing component, just as we did in the spring.
Are there plans in place for them? A lot of them are traveling from out of state with their horses. Are there plans in place to have them with their monitoring symptoms and whatnot heading up to Derby? It's 2 weeks away.
So what we do, all the folks who come to our backside, who bring the horses to the backside, actually will undergo COVID testing. And then every day, anyone who enters the property on either the front side or the backside has their temperature taken, screened for those types of issues. We will continue that throughout this process.
Will the museum and other facilities remain open for guests?
I'm sorry. I can't speak to the museum and what they're doing right now. Obviously, the Derby Week component, a big part of what we're doing is the fact that it is a larger crowd, and we've had calls and we've had conversations with members of the community many of whom really wanted us to go with 20+ thousand fans, and many of whom didn't want us to do. So it's a unique piece. It's different from the museum, from other restaurants, which have a smaller piece. So they're making their decisions in real time. I can't speak for them, but I think you have to look at our decision through the lens of the size of the crowd that you would expect for Derby, and really our effort to make sure that the protocols for the week are the same, so that we do them as best we can throughout that time frame.
I know some of this isn't about money.
No.
Of course, safety comes first, but Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby bring in a lot of money to this city. Are you guys worried about, continuing next year about having those funds to continue such a long tradition?
We're looking forward to 2021. We're looking forward to bringing the Derby back in a normal fashion. This isn't the first challenge that the Derby has faced. It's not the first challenge the city has faced. There are a lot of hurdles along the way for everyone, but in the end, I know that this community will come together and we'll come back stronger than ever in the future. We've got to deal with the issues on the ground, both from the COVID pandemic standpoint and the civil unrest issues, and I know that will happen. I think the future looks bright, but we got to deal with those issues first.